Mm, 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 mm.
Buttermilk biscuits. I enjoy it.
A lot of that going on, man.
You get
ready,
ready,
cause
cause
I'm gonna
I'm
need
gonna
you.
need
I'm
you.
gonna need
Are
your
we
reading
Your reading
skills.
skills.
are we live?
We
We
live. We
live. We
live.
live.
Live and direct. All right.
I got an
I got
echo
an
coming
echo
from
coming
you. I
from you.
think.
I
Hold
think.
on one
Hold on
second.
one second.
Is that from me?
Buttermilk biscuits. I enjoy it.
Brother
Brother
Prime.
Prime.
Brother Shannon.
So
So
let me make
let
sure
me
we
make
cut
sure we
this
cut
echo
this
off.
echo
Hold on
off.
one
Hold on
second.
one second.
That's that.
That's that.
I think that
I
might
think
be
that
on
might
your
be on
side.
your side.
You
What?
got some
You got some
audio
audio
going.
going.
All right. I'll just mute myself.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Can you hear me though?
Loud
You
and
gotta
clear.
still be able to hear me.
Loud and clear. Can you hear me? I hear you. Fine.
Yep, I can hear you. I just didn't. I can hear that echo in the back. I'm just trying to get this low enough to where I can hear both of us. You know, when we got to drop in this.
Buttermilk biscuits. I enjoy it.
Gotta make
Gotta
sure.
make sure.
Because
Cause
right now,
right now.
I wasn't gonna do another cast, as I told you when I called you about this. I wasn't gonna do another cast on Emmett Till because I felt like I had said what I had said earlier about the Anti-Lynching Act, which is disrespectful within itself. The fact that it took over 200 tries and over 100 years to get an anti-lynching bill when we are still being lynched right now in 2022, whatever. And the bill is senseless. It doesn't take out qualified immunity.
Yep.
It's useless.
It's useless.
Yep. Toothless.
But they
But
gave
they
us
gave us
another distraction. It's not a
It's not a
distraction,
distraction.
it's a
It's
distraction. Because we the only people that are really affected by it. White people don't care whether this bill gets passed or not. And I'm not talking about white people caring about whether Emmett Till got killed or anything like that. This bill does not affect anybody at all.
Mm-hmm.
The only people that this bill affects is still the people that hang on it emotionally, which we know are going to be black. Now, there might be some white people that say, okay, you know, I'm down for the struggle, this, that, and the other. But it does not affect their existence because they are never going to be in danger of being lynched. It only affects us because we're the only ones that are in danger of being lynched.
Right.
And that excludes immigrants. Has there ever been mass lynching of immigrants? Asians, Hispanics, Middle Eastern people. There's never been mass lynching of any of these people. But there's been mass lynching of us, and it took over 100 years and 200 tribes to go through House and the Senate. And now they've got a toothless ass bill that means nothing. And if you get convicted to the highest of the heights of this bill, you still ain't gonna go to prison for life without parole. You still gonna get 30 years.
That's the max. The max is 30 years. Yep. Exactly.
I mean, I don't get what they're trying to do with it, other than just piss people off even more. The Democratic Party, I think basically they're just going to go out with a blaze of glory. Because this right here is one of the worst things that you could have ever done. You bypassed us on every situation throughout Biden's administration. Now you're going to throw out this bill. What happened to the George Floyd bill, Prime?
George Floyd bill is no different than I'm sure than the Emmett Till anti-lynching bill, another toothless bill.
Well, this
Does not
bill
end
doesn't have any
qualified
teeth.
immunity. Go ahead.
This bill doesn't have any teeth, but at least it got passed through the Senate. The George Floyd bill can't even get passed through the Senate, and that's some shit that's happened within our lifetime. Hell, within the last 36 months.
Right. Right.
So when we got a problem out here, they're not gonna fuck with us, but they're gonna let us get something that's damn near 70 years old. It's like when they exonerate black people and shit after they dead.
Right.
Oh, we just figured out he didn't do it.
Right. Or 50 years later after
Motherfucker
they.
been dead 30 years, now you figure out he didn't do it.
Right. Or the men who've been incarcerated, or black women who've been incarcerated for 30 years, and then new evidence comes out and they're innocent, and then they come out. 30 years of their lives.
Then he get 1.5 million and shit for 40 fucking years of imprisonment. You know,
It's
I like
a
to do some stories on these people to get these settlements and shit when they get out of prison and shit. How long is it taking to blow through that fucking money? Because I know they don't live for the rest of their lives with that money. They don't live for the rest of their lives. Nobody gets that money and talk about starting a business, starting something, even some type of advocacy program for people that are wrongfully convicted. When you hear about these people getting these settlements, you don't never hear about them again.
Right.
They like them lottery motherfuckers, man. Once they get them lottery, they like the George Floyd family. They like Breonna Taylor's family. Once they got the bag, we don't hear from them no more. You know? Look at George Floyd's family. George Floyd's family's not even fighting for the bill no more. You know? They had the one brother that was down by law. And then they got the bag, and he got a little middle of the ground, middle of the road, and then you ain't even heard from him no more.
Maybe was that a part of
his daughter
was that could have been a part of the settlement?
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. That could have been a
Get
part
this
of
bag,
it.
you shut the fuck up.
Right. Hush money.
Yeah. I wish it would have stopped them before they got all their goddamn loud ass suits and shit and them big block gator shoes. Motherfuckers walking around looking like pimps now. When they was advocating, they was all wearing sweatshirts and shit, hoodies and shit. They got them motherfuckers that bag. Them motherfuckers was wearing big block gators.
Oh yeah.
Window pane suits and shit. Them wide ass ties, mile wide ties and shit. Country ass niggas. Took that fucking money and shit. They don't give a fuck about their brother.
Not at all.
Every goddamn studio, the statue thing they come up, everything they there when they raise the statues. Fuck them statues.
Facts.
Fucking pigeon furniture. That's all it is. Pigeon furniture.
That's a fact.
So I didn't mean to pull you out your enclave tonight. You know, I didn't mean to pull you out the bat cave, but I had to. Our sister, our down by law sister, she said still an echo. Shayna still got an echo. You see that, Prime?
Yeah, I seen that. I muted my mic, so it's probably me. You said it was coming from my end.
Yeah, there's something going on. Because I'm not on two devices here that have us going. So she posted something on our family's site, on the Be the Power site. And you've read it now. You read it. I know you read it, because when you called me back, you said, "What the fuck?" So I knew you had read it. And when I had read it, I got so goddamn upset. I mean, I was like, I thought I was upset about the anti-lynching bill, but then that didn't compare to this. This was so disrespectful. And I'd like both of us to be a part of, because I know that 99, and I might be low in this, but 99% of the people that we're going to talk about this with right now don't know about this, Prime. They're going to think we're crazy until we literally start reading this shit. Because, for one, it's unfucking believable. Okay? I don't know how anybody could be this fucking tone deaf to think that this is going to fly on any level. But as we know, when the white people get together and they put their heads together on some shit, they can really come up with some shenanigans. So if you don't mind, let me go a little bit more into this, and I want to read what Sister Shanna posted. Because we both know if Sister Shanna posted it, it's real. It's factual. She don't fuck with no garbage. The new Emmett Till opera. Did you know that there was an old Emmett Till opera, Prime? Was there an old Emmett Till opera? So the new Emmett Till opera, maybe they comprised it before and just never followed through with it, thankfully, is written by a white woman and stars a fictional white woman. Like Bigger Long. You know, there was no Bigger Long in the Harriet Tubman lifetime, but they made Bigger Long up. I still ain't seen Harriet, so
right.
I don't know. What else could possibly go wrong? Well, the fact that a white woman decided to make a story about Emmett Till, wrong. To make a fictional character to put into the story, wrong. But it gets worse. So, I want to read the first couple paragraphs, and I want to touch on it with you. But bro, when you first read this, because I got your initial remark when you called me, but what did you first think? Before you called me back, what did you think?
I wanted to hurt people. I wanted to hurt people. I wanted to hurt the coons who approved this. Because she went first to the coons, to some black coons to approve this. She had to. And
somebody co-signed this, Prime.
Right.
They look just like us.
Exactly. First, so they was my first. Right.
Yeah.
They was my first targets, because without their approval or validation and support, she would have not even took the next necessary steps. I wanted to hurt all of the musicians who's gonna be in these in this play, which they made a point to highlight them in the article. All black musicians.
They made sure they had some niggas listed. Like, look, we're not doing this on our own.
Right.
We got some black folks to be in this motherfucker too.
Right. And then I wanted to slap Freedmen fire. And then I wanted to slap Freedmen fire out of this woman. And I said what I said. I think her name is, what's her name? Rowan Walker or something like that?
Let's look here.
For her to have the audacity, the even thought to insert herself or her fictional white character into a true story, a tragedy about Emmett Till. That alone is disrespectful. It's like Leonardo DiCaprio playing Martin Luther King.
You know what?
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's like Elizabeth Taylor playing Cleopatra.
Yeah.
You take a true story or historically true story, and then you insert whiteness into it to control the narrative and to make it more palatable for white people and to make it better for white consumption. Everybody on the planet knows is she a descendant of the lying white woman who lied on Emmett Till? Is there any relation to her with that? Because it was really a white woman who lied on Emmett Till. And we know she lied because at the end, she admitted she lied
Yeah.
before she died.
Right. 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 Right.
So that was my initial thoughts. Hurting people, hurting everyone involved,
Pain.
especially the coons.
Yeah, I mean, they get it first.
Yeah. And
Because
salute to Shanna Kim for bringing this to our attention.
they give the approval. I hear that echo again. I'm not sure if it's on my side.
Yeah, it's me because I
And I never hear it usually. I don't know. Are you on a new device?
no, it's the same thing I always use.
Huh. But, and to answer the question that I asked first, obviously I was so pissed off because of the fact that I was reading this. I missed, it says the opera was written by playwright and audacious white woman, Claire Koss, who based it on her award-winning 2013 play, Emmett, Down in My Heart. See, there's been a play. So that's why they say at the top, the new Emmett Till opera. They did this shit before and we weren't paying attention. 2013. Now I'll give you right now. 2013, I wasn't here. I wasn't Freedmen. I wasn't ADOS. To be honest with you, I mean, God damn it. If I gotta admit it, if I gotta admit it, I'm gonna go and admit it. I already told you, I ate them.
Buttermilk biscuits, I enjoy it.
I was riding that Barack Obama train at that time. I had just voted for the motherfucker a second time. I was fucked up in the game, man. You know, it was also a life-changing year for me that year, Crying. That's the year I got cut. You know what I'm saying? I got cut and lost a few pounds and shit. Got my life back. I lost, hell, in total, I've lost about 500 pounds because I've lost 200 here and then 300 from my ex-wife because that bitch weighed about 300. She was about 300. Well, she might have not weighed 300 when we divorced. But in reality, after you take the waist trainer off and all the excess baggage, she's about $3. So
Damn.
I lost a lot of weight in 13, okay?
A lot of Freedmen love.
A lot of Frida locomotives. Lot gone. So they tried this shit before. I wasn't on the job. In 2013, I wasn't on the job. Okay? To know that they did this, and like I said, somebody had to give them permission. Shannon says sometimes they do this without our approval. Sometimes they don't need our approval. They just do it. They have that boldness about themselves. But just reading verbatim, because you've already touched on the white consumption. It says when white people tell black stories through the lens of whiteness, you don't get a black history story that benefits black people. You get a black story sanitized for white consumption. Now, I have a problem with that. I have a problem that they use the word sanitize, because doesn't sanitize means to cleanse? Why you got to cleanse the black story for white consumption? What you're doing is actually muddying up the waters for white consumption. Like the same mud that pigs wallow in, that animals like to frolic in, hell, that kids like to play in. That's what you're doing. You muddying up the waters for white consumption. One day, a white woman woke up in the morning and decided to make an opera about Emmett Till and thought that was a good idea. That white woman got a bunch of black people involved whom she needed to make this even plausibly okay. I don't think it's still plausibly okay, though. So whoever those black people were, bro, they need to be slapped. But that won't change the fact that black people's response to the very idea of the opera will range from skeptical to what the fuck is this Caucasian shit here. We've already looked at it that way. If history has taught us nothing else, no one would think it obviously that it taught us nothing having to do with Emmett Till. That didn't come out right. If history has taught us nothing else, one would think it's obvious that it's taught us nothing having to do with Emmett Till that begins with a white woman, ends well. I mean, because that right there, the reason Emmett's dead is because of a white woman. So a white woman writes his story? They should stay away from this story. I don't care about creativity. I don't care about, your craft. I don't think any white woman should be writing on Emmett Till. Stay away from this. Stay away from this. But she didn't. She took it upon herself. Anyway, Emmett Till. Yep. Emmett Till was, I done lost my place. Hold on one quick second. There we go. You frozen? I think Prime is frozen. We're going to carry on and make sure that he gets back up in here. His mic is muted and he's frozen. Says, anyway, Emmett Till the Opera will have its world premiere March 23rd with an encore performance on March 24th at the Gerald W. Lynch. Wow! See, y'all motherfuckers having a Emmett Till the Opera at a place called the Lynch Theater. You can't make this shit up. I can't make this shit up. I wouldn't make it up. I don't make shit up. The theater is called the Lynch Theater. Hopefully we're still on the air. I know Prime is stuck in time right now. Hopefully he unsticks in a minute. If there's anybody else in here that can see what's going on, hey, let me know if we're still going. We've got some people in here, and I don't know if they're YouTubers, Facebookers, tweeters, or just Haps folk, but Prime is stuck. And I don't know what to do in these instances. Sometimes people go down, they come back up, but he said his laptop is acting up on him. So he's trying to do some tech work behind the scenes right now. But I'm going to leave him up on the screen because we still at it as Freedmen on deck, even though Prime is kind of stuck. So getting back to the play about the lynching. Prime left. Okay. There's a play about Emmett Till being lynched, and it's at a theater called, not anymore. Hold on a second. You got a lot of stuff going on. So thanks, Sister Shanna. To have the nerve to do this is one thing. The tone deafness of it all is what's really gotten me. I'm like, okay, if you do something like this, you've got to really tread lightly. And you've got to be in touch with the Till family to make sure that you put on a production that is going to be respectful. If it's not going to be respectful, then why would you do it? And somehow, I have a hard time believing, if anybody thought about this, are we being respectful to Mamie Till and her family, to Emmett Till and his family? We're going to try to get Prime back up here. Hold on one second. You back? You got echo still.
I'm black at it. I'm gonna mute myself.
All right, you got that echo. I don't know where that echo is coming from. But if we're in a position to look at what's that hoe's name? The bitch who made this play. Cause she a bitch to me. I don't give a fuck what her name is. Was it Chloe something? I forgot. Hold on a second. Let me get that right, because I do want to call the bitch by her right name. Claire. Okay. Claire Koss. Okay. So when Claire wrote this, I don't know who she went at. Did she go at the Till family? Did she find a bunch of black people and sit down and say, hey, what do you think about me doing a story about Emmett Till? Did she run this by them? Because I didn't hear anything about the award-winning 2013 play, Emmett Down in My Heart. I don't know anything about that. I have no idea about that play. But I guess this was the playbill back then. In the opera, the story is approached through the lens of Rowan Taylor, a young white woman who teaches high school science in Drew, Mississippi. Rowan is against Jim Crow laws, segregation, and the racial inequality she sees around her, but remains silent. See, Rowan was a problem too. I don't give a fuck that you are against it and you don't like racial inequality, you don't like segregation, you don't like Jim Crow laws. If you stay silent, you are useless. You are helpless to me. You are helpless to Freedmen.
Yep.
I mean, isn't that the problem out here, Prime? Is that too many Caucasian people remain silent?
Absolutely. That's definitely a big part of the problem. And they remain silent. Most of them, not all of them, but most of them remain silent because they know that there's a system in place that automatically benefits them. So why would you try to disrupt that system? If I get benefits from it just from off of unearned benefits, just off of whiteness.
It's kind of like them tax refunds motherfuckers getting right now. Earned income credit. There ain't no earned income credit.
Unearned.
Only
But
way you
check this
earn it
out.
because you had a bunch of fucking babies and shit, and now you get the bag once a year.
But
That's
check
not
this out.
earned.
Check this out, family. Listen how they write it. This opera was written by playwright and audacious white woman Clara Cause, who based it on her award-winning 2013 play, Emmett Down in My Heart. You see how they tried to credentialize her and validate her off the rip and make her seem like she's this great white woman? You see the language in there in itself? Audacious white woman.
This?
Huh?
Had you ever heard of Claire Cost before this?
Never. Never. And I don't care to hear from her. I don't give a fuck about her. But now that she's bringing this Freedman history to the play and being disrespectful, now we have to bring heat to her. Heat to her dumb ass. She's a Karen.
Yeah.
She's a Karen. And she's very disrespectful to Emmett Till. She's very disrespectful to his mother, to his whole family, and the whole Freedman family.
So
how dare you? How dare you insert yourself, a fictional white woman, a fictional white character, into that history?
If you never heard of her, and I've never heard of her, how she's so, I mean, and I'm not saying that you and I are theater gurus or anything, but we know playwrights. We know some people that have written plays and had plays, and they said she's an award-winning. I'm not sure how I don't know her name, Claire Koss. Now, maybe in the theater world, those are small leagues, and I get that. But there's external. Let me just clear this up. There's external audio coming through his side. Free. He's had to mute me, so now I believe everybody can hear me, but not hear the echo. We went over it. You were a little late coming in, but we went over it before. We had the echo before, and then we got it taken care of. So I think Prime is handling it when I talk, and I'll continue to signal when I'm complete. But this Playbill magazine, whatever, says that she was a award-winning, audacious playwright. I never heard of anything from her before, and maybe she did win awards back in 2013. I get it. But right now, I want to know why Claire Koss thought it was a good idea to make a new Emmett Till. If that one was so successful, why aren't you moving down the road and making another play about maybe somebody else who was brutalized and murdered by racist white people? Why are you sticking with the Emmett Till story? Why? Because the Emmett Till story sells. The Emmett Till story sells. That's why she's sticking with it. They make money off the bloodshed of freedmen.
Facts. Not only that, I think the fact that the discussion about the anti-lynching Emmett Till bill is in the lexicon right now, so the timing of that is not coincidental. It's not coincidental at all. So you got the timing of the Emmett Till anti-lynching bill going or passing. What was that? The Senate, and that was supposed to be going to Jim Crow Joe, unanimously by the Senate at that, or Congress, and that was going to Jim Crow Joe. So now she feels the need to write another play. And how does this help black people? Let me get my words right. Something that's a part of Freedmen history, and you insert a fictional white woman in there. What the fuck? Just like how you said, Harriet Tubman or the Harriet movie, who was played by a anti-black, right? Who was played by an anti-black or anti-freedman African or Nigerian woman or whatever the hell she was, who looked scared throughout the entire fucking movie. And whenever you see Harriet Tubman pictures, she doesn't look scared ever. You see what I'm saying?
Harriet Tubman looked like she would have fucked somebody.
Exactly. And then you got a fictional character who's a freedman, who's a bounty hunter, and he's out here beating up black women and chasing after Harriet Tubman. But yeah, let's go back to this bullshit.
He was obviously slinging dick. Let's just put it out there this late.
Right, to white women.
Because they wouldn't have called him bigger long. You understood the sexual connotation there, right?
Right, of course. That's not a joke. That's not a joke. That was really his character's name, Bigger Long. And he said, as long as I get to have sex with white women, I'm all in.
I'm with it.
What kind of bullshit is that?
Fictional character, a line that was never spoken in real life, but you put it in there to make him fetishize with white women. You couldn't have said, I hate all this shit going around here. Y'all doing this to all my black queens. I'm going to slaughter all you mayonnaise ass bitches. No, you couldn't say that. You say, I want to fuck all the white women, but I'm going to chase Harriet Tubman around because she's trying to free her people, and then you name him Bigger Long. That made me not even want to watch the movie when I found out his name was Bigger Long. I'm like, really, nigga? You accepted that? But see, that check is bigger than the history to those thespians out there. He got to live with that role for the rest of his life. You played a fictitious character that chased Harriet Tubman around. Okay. Yeah. So, Emmett Till, the opera. I'm not sure exactly why she did the first one. But as the article continued, it said, so to recap, we read a little bit into, what she was trying to do. It says, okay, I'm sorry. I better give preface to why she's playing a fictitious character now, because this right here also kind of pissed me off. It said, in the opera, the story is approached through the eyes of Rowan Taylor. We got through all that, right? She's against all the shit, but she remains silent, so she's complicit. She is the opera's only fictional character. I say keep saying fictional. No, fictional. I'm sorry. Why the fuck am I going through? Sorry. Fictional character, and represents what Martin Luther King Jr. called the ultimate tragedy, the silence of the good people. Featuring a black chorus and a white chorus. I'm not sure why we needed help. If we got a black chorus, we don't need a white chorus. Emmett Till weaves the horrific murder of Till with Mamie Till Mobley's transformation from private citizen to activist. Now, I got to let you back in here. But before I do, this is another way that they do this and try to make it seem like we've championed being civil rights activists. Mamie Till did not transform from a private citizen to activist. Mamie Till went from a mother of a living child to a mother to a brutalized and murdered child, and she was thrust into activism by being a grieving mother. She didn't transform from a private citizen. She never stopped being a private citizen, you motherfuckers. She became an activist because y'all killed her baby. Stop trying to soften up history. See, this is where CRT comes in. Tell the shit the right way. You murdered her son and you threw her in the Tallahatchie River. And they don't like talking about that too deep, like where he was. Because there was other dead bodies in that bitch when they pulled Emmett out. Mm-hmm. But this right here is bullshit. The transformation from private citizen to activist. Get the fuck out of here.
You hit it right on the nail. This was a mother who had her son lynched. And she had to live with that, and I'm sure it broke her. Devastating. You know? And I think, to my knowledge, that's like probably one of the worst things any person can ever deal with. You witnessing your child be killed and murdered in that fashion. No parent wants to see their child dead. No parent wants to see their child dead, especially in that manner.
And we say no parent should ever bury their child. No parent.
Exactly.
Seeing that she did have to, she said, nah, we ain't cremating them. Nah, we ain't closed casking this shit. Leave the casket open. I want y'all to see what they did to my baby. Now, is that when she transformed from a private citizen to an activist? No, that's when she told white folks, look what the fuck y'all did and look what the fuck y'all been doing to us for years. That's where Emmett Till, that's where his history is. His history was when his mama said, leave the casket open. I love these beautiful pictures that they can put up of Emmett Till, but we really don't know Emmett Till as that. We know him as that disfigured boy that she told him, leave the casket open. That's the way we know Emmett Till. All these other pictures, that's to soften up history.
Yep, that's a fact. And in doing that, respectfully, Emmett Till's body after he was attacked and murdered and beaten, that is what anti-Freedmen racism and white supremacy looks like. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. If you want to visualize it, if you want to visualize a victim of that, that's what it is right there. Emmett Till. And that's just one of the many results. But Emmett Till is in our social consciousness that a lot of people would know that story and or yeah, a lot of people would know that story. So that's the visual of white supremacy right there, Emmett Till. And for her to have the courage to do that, I tip my hat to her in respect. Because that wasn't easy to do, I'm sure. I can only imagine. I cannot empathize with that. I can't empathize with that.
I still get chills looking at that disfigured picture, knowing that it was the same boy that we see smiling, sitting next to her, that we see smiling, wearing the fedora, that we see smiling, playing with his siblings. And they say, I mean, because when we see him, he's always dressed, he's always tight. When they found him, he was naked. He was beaten, he was broken, he was shot. I mean, they tortured him. They tortured a 14-year-old boy. And God knows what else they did to him. Because those animals probably raped him too. They probably did all kinds of nasty shit to him. I've read some things where they said that you could, that it was heard that he was begging for his life and all kinds of shit. I don't know about any of that because things have gotten fabricated so much over these years. And now the truths are starting to come out about things. But that was possibly a rumor. But it could be true that somebody heard him begging for his life and still nobody went to help him. But the fact that this has become entertainment now, isn't a play entertainment?
Yeah, that's definitely a part of it. This man being, well, not this man, this young boy being shot and mutilated. They're reframing the story, injecting a white woman who had nothing to do with Emmett Till for white consumption.
She had nothing to do with anything. She's not even real.
Right.
She made herself up, inserted her in Emmett Till's life.
To make money. And to sell it on Broadway. Literally.
And I apologize to anybody that's watching this and they're kind of lost. I see John Ardmore did research during the stream. We've talked about the things, some of the things y'all put in the chat, but I'm trying to stay on task. Prime's staying on task. Prime had some technical difficulties, and I wasn't going to proceed without him because we came into this stream together tonight. We've got an echo issue. He's taking care of that on his side. So we're not paying attention to the chat as we normally are. We're making sure that we stay focused and keep the dialogue going without as much dead air because we're working with the audio issue. But what we're talking about is a white woman who they proclaimed her to be audacious, who had the fucking audacity to make a play about Emmett Till's life, insert herself in it as a fictional character, and tell a story that was not true. I'm not sure why we needed to do this, but as Prime has stated, and as the article states it, it's for white consumption. Now, they use the term sanitize. I don't think you're cleaning the story up. I think you are muddying the waters up. So I don't think you're making it cleaner. I think you're making it a dirty story.
That's exactly what's being done.
I mean, that's why I'm with it.
Call it what it is. That's exactly what's being done. You're not sanitizing it. You're dirtying it. You're dirtying the story and the legacy of Emmett Till and his mother, Mamie Till. Or Mamie Till, pardon me.
And totally understood that the play had to be held somewhere if you were going to have the audacity to have the play. But how dare you have a fucking play at a theater called the Lynch Theater? Are you fucking crazy? You couldn't have this play at any other theater other than a theater called the Lynch Theater. And I'm not making light of the shit. I'm wondering, like, how tone deaf are we here? You came up with the idea to do this, add the fictional character, then you said, you know what? We're gonna have it over at the Lynch. I mean, you couldn't have had it down the street at the State Theater, or couldn't have had it at like a high school or a small community college campus auditorium. You had to have it at the Lynch. Dude, if I'm way off base here, tell me.
You're not way off base. And now that you mentioned that, this is the re-lynching of Emmett Till. This is the re-lynching of Emmett Till. Because not only was Freedmen lynched, a lot of the men were castrated, fed their own penises, set on fire, lynched, and what would happen? White people would gather around and celebrate. And now this is what they're doing right here with this quote unquote play. This is our story. And she's taking our story, or Emmett Till's story and Mamie Till's story, to make money. Lying about it and then making money.
And I don't hear one complaint coming from anybody in mainstream media. I haven't heard anybody, and once again, we're going to thank Sister Shannon for bringing it to our attention. I haven't heard anybody in the podcast world. Everybody right now is up on Ukraine. Everybody right now is up on all the other shit that, frankly ain't really mattered. And shout out to the brothers. I wasn't there as long. Sister Shannon brought me in, invited me, made sure I had the link. Articulate those brothers that had the stream earlier and what they were talking about a little bit, Prime, because shout out to those brothers who are doing work. For a while there, we only had people like Be the Power. Now we've got other people coming out and doing things. We know we have Brother Chris on there who's really been deep in the streets, and we thank him for continuing on after what he had to go through with the hashtag mafia. But we need those discussions. But nobody in the podcast world is talking about this situation here. We talk about controlling our own narrative, speaking on our own narrative. Nobody's talking about it, but can you just give a little brief synopsis of what we were a part of? I was just in the stream. You almost got up on the panel, I think. What was that about tonight? Because it was all us. It was all Freedmen. What was that about tonight?
Yeah, that was from what I could tell, was hosted by some members of the U.S. Freedmen Project. That's some people out here in New York City who's doing a lot of Freedmen work. Tony Blunt. I think one of the guys' names is Connor. We even had Ibrahim, Chris, as you mentioned, even Annette, who I've spoken with, beautiful woman, inside and out. Freedman woman, of course. Michael. And they was having a discussion about Freedmen issues. What do we deal with in this Freedmen movement? What can we do to do better? The gender wars. What are the barriers? It was a lot of questions in there. It was a really good discussion. I joined in kind of late. So I wasn't able to get the whole entire discussion. But when I did join, I think they was willing to invite me on a panel. But, a lot of people was able to talk, and it was no need for me to put my input, because a lot of what was being said was what I wanted to articulate. And I did come in kind of late, so I didn't want to disrupt the space or whatever. But hopefully next time, because it seems like they're going to try to do this more often, which is great, us men gathering together and coming up with answers and solutions on a local level, state level, and then eventually on a national federal level. So yeah, it was a great space. It was respectful. It was very positive. It was good in my opinion. I loved it. I think we need more of that. Us comparing notes and organizing and mobilizing and galvanizing our critical masses.
So I want to agree with you and disagree with you on something you just said there. First, I'm going to agree with you on yes, it was an incredible space. I got that echo happening again.
Oh, hold on.
I totally agree with you with the fact that the brothers were able to get in there and talk, I mean, ridiculously with each other. See, this is such a misnomer that black men can't get together and have real constructive conversations. I've been trying to turn motherfuckers on the beat of power. You know, you talk about 4 thorough motherfuckers, 5, 6, whoever they bring in, you know, whether it be the core, Naeem, Josh, Ali, Logic, or then they got Grim, and they got Ibrahim, they got himself, they got the family in there.
Oh yeah.
It's a matter of seeing the way these brothers came about it. 2 totally different perspectives, but one consciousness, Freedmen consciousness.
There we go. Come on.
They don't talk the same as BTP. BTP doesn't talk the same as them, but they talk the same because they're talking from a Freedman's perspective.
Absolutely.
When I came in, I saw it looked like they had basically kind of promised you to come up, but I think they had transitioned into the Q&A, and at that time, they were probably past maybe like the open discussion. So I kind of caught it, and then, but it was all respectful. They kept saying that we got you, Prime, we see you, bam, 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 however it worked out. It wasn't a bad thing that you didn't get up, but I am going to disagree with you on we do need you in this space. Because when you show up, your perspective is going to be different than the 4 brothers who were on there tonight. Five brothers and the sisters that were on there tonight. We need you in that space because it was about the freedmen talking. It was about the men talking. So you would be coming from a different avenue, a different angle.
Oh yeah. I know.
Uh-oh. What? Oh, wow. Posted on News One's Facebook page within the article's post comments. You and I. Sister Shannon just brought me up on.
I'm confused.
We need you.
Okay.
We need you in these spaces because of your perspective, Prime. That's why Freedmen Media, it ain't about me. It's about Freedmen. You stepped up to the plate, was like, man, let's do something. We doing something. We can't do it as much as we would want to do it, because I think if it was really up to me and you, we'd be on this bitch every night, cooking.
I wouldn't mind that.
But I don't know if I can hang with Paul after every night, because you done got kicked off every motherfucking platform.
I guess, yeah. I guess you're right. Maybe not every night. Maybe like 3 times a week, twice a week. But yeah, I am a little raw and very direct. So, in a lot of spaces, especially in social media, which I really don't care, but even out in the streets, I'm very raw and direct, and a lot of people don't like that. So that's how I know I'm doing something right. Because I'm so radical, that means that I'm on the right path. If you're not radical, then you're not disrupting the status quo. You're just trying to maintain it, if you ask me.
Right.
So, you're either going to be resisting, cooperating, submitting, or engaging in the destruction of white supremacy. So, I'm definitely a part of the resistance and the engaging in the destruction of white supremacy. So, and you're not always going to be liked. And that's not my job to be liked. I got enough people who like me, got enough people who love me, and it is what it is. But yeah, maybe I
Man,
think you're right. I think I would have added some other elements to that discussion. Um, but I wasn't. I wasn't able to get on. I honestly thought that they was like opening it up to the public or whatever, but they said that it was like the Q&A section. So then when I heard that, I was like, oh, okay. And then I asked a question or whatever, so they answered it in the chat or whatever. So it is what it is. It would be great if I was able to get back on Twitter Space, because I see that's like a really popular these days with the Twitter Spaces and Tariq roasting people, and we standing our 10 toes down on our Freedmen status and explaining to the masses who we are and what we do and the history, the legislation, and everything. But it's other ways to fight this. And I really prefer to be out in the streets anyway. I understand the necessity of Twitter and IG and all that. It's just not really my preference or my thing. So
real shit. So you come from it that direction, and I've lent my support. I've given my support because I didn't really lend it to him. I guess I say I lend it because I can take it back, and I have taken my support back on a lot of situations around here, because I've told people there's a certain angle that I'm not going to work with you. I'm generally not going to march. And it has nothing to do with being outside the elements, walking or whatever. I'm fine. I'm healthier than most of the motherfuckers out here marching and struggling. Just like them coons and walking across the Emmett Pettis Bridge. I was healthier than most of the motherfuckers on the front line.
Oh Lord, don't get me started with John Lewis.
Martin Luther King, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, with his big plump ass, he couldn't barely walk across. They should have just rolled his motherfucking ass across the bridge. Jesse, why don't they just put Jesse in a wheelchair? Why are they still making Jesse? Jesse can barely walk. I bet you Jesse don't even walk. I bet you they got Jesse some shoes with the little skates in the bottom of them, and they just pulling Jesse along.
Jesse is done, man. His time is gone. He looks like he needs to be eating from a cheeseburger tube or something. He's done. He's out of here.
He's waiting for mortuary makeup. That's all he's waiting for. He's waiting for some mortuary makeup. And Reverend Do, this nigga show up with his motherfucking perm, and I'm thinking to myself, all he's looking for is the cameras and the bag. He don't give a fuck about no justice for black people no more.
Absolutely. And that's already known. He's been exposed. This old guard that we're talking about, they've been run off the block. Roland Swollen Martin, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson. He doesn't even talk. So a lot of these older generations, these old niggas, these old civil rights Negroes, the youth, they're not looking up to them. They're not looking up to them at all. They're not looking up to them for leadership. They see that they're afraid and they're cowards, and the youth is not. So they're not gonna look up to them for anything, and nor should they. Their time is past.
And their time is not only past, they didn't do anything after we lost Martin. All they did was homogenize. Exactly. Martin went against the grain. Martin did what he needed to do to get himself killed. He said the right shit. I said it about him, and I said it about Malcolm. As long as Malcolm and Martin were talking to the niggas, they would have survived. When they started talking about bringing this country together, that's when they got murked. And now after 50 years, 50-some years, now we done figured out that Malcolm was killed by the government when we knew that he was. They just found some fucking, lackeys to take the heat and put fezzes on him and shit. And we knew Martin was killed by the government. I knew he didn't get killed by that scrawny little white man. It took a marksman to make that shot.
Yeah, of course.
It took a trained marksman to make that shot. And they tried to blame it on the motherfucker who wanted to be James Dean and shit.
Professional. Some reports have shown that it was the hospital staff who actually killed him.
Oh, so you know this too. You want to go there tonight?
We don't have to. I want us to stick on this Karen, but we can stick on this.
A lot of people don't realize that the government didn't kill Malcolm. I'm sorry, Martin. The hospital staff killed him.
Right.
The government shot him. They put him in the hospital, and then the people in the hospital finished him off. And there's documentation about that. One of the daughters of the doctors came out with some shit.
Mm-hmm. Toward the end of her life, of course.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Martin ate a pillowcase because he could have survived.
Mm-hmm.
He was breathing. He was coherent.
Right.
And if you ever notice, nobody talks about this. Later in his life and later in Malcolm's life, were they ever alone? Weren't people always by their side as protectors? Why, when you see all the people in the hospital staff around Martin Luther King's body, where the niggas at?
Right.
Where they at?
How was that
Andy Young
exactly?
ain't there?
How was that even allowed?
How come Jesse ain't there? How come Jose ain't there? Jesse got blood on his shirt. He said he was right there.
And
Jesse,
Hosea
he was halfway back to Chicago.
Hosea Williams exposed him.
Flat the fuck out.
He exposed him for that. Hosea said himself, I wanted to beat the hell out of Jesse when he did that. He said that really pissed him off when Jesse, marked himself in Martin's blood as if, he was like right there with Martin. Publicity. A true coward.
He was already turning that angle. Jesse already had to play in order. They come in your crew, they infiltrate in your crew, and they go for the weakest link. And at that point, Jesse was the weakest link because he had the biggest upside. Out of all them niggas, Jesse had the biggest upside. Not Andy, not Hosea, not Ralph Abernathy, for various reasons. Jesse had the biggest upside. He was tall, handsome, obviously well-spoken. We're not going to use that term because we already know all them motherfuckers can talk. Andy was short. People listen to tall people. People like tall people. Hosea, kind of gruff. Hosea was a bulldog. The people love Hosea, but everybody didn't love Hosea. Ralph Abernathy, he was just too dark. You're not going to see elevation of a black politician in this country ever. When I say black, I'm talking about black. They won't do it. They won't elevate the black ones. And the ones who get to a certain height, they ridicule the motherfuckers about the paint. Harold Washington, Marion Barry, Willie Brown, every dark-skinned politician that we've had elevated, they found some shit and torpedoed them motherfuckers. Light-skinned motherfuckers, they can fly all over the place. Dark-skinned motherfuckers, shit, one shot. Bitch set me up.
So yeah, now that we explained that and how Martin really was killed, how he was shot by the government and then killed by the hospital staff. I think we can get. I
Sister
think we could
Shannon just said
get back into the
it wasn't the
story.
hospital staff. It was the government agents that went into the hospital. So is Hosea in a picture, Shannon, when the doctors are right there? Because when they show his body like he was just, I don't remember no black people around there. So I got to go find the photo. Hosea Williams was that dude.
She's saying like he was that nigga. She's saying like he was that nigga.
Oh, that dude. Yeah. Okay. I forget Sister Shannon. She talked. She got like eight languages too.
Yeah. She's saying like he was the man. Hosea was the man.
So okay, that makes sense. I ain't gonna try to look it up right now. I want to be all yeah.
So yeah, to get back to the Emmett Till topic, and this Karen.
Okay. Yeah. One of the OG Karen.
Yeah. This Karen Claire Koss rewriting the narrative and the history of Emmett Till and centering a white woman and making the white woman the main character in the Emmett Till story. In our Freedmen history. Go ahead.
I'm just reading the article. Okay, so I think we both got pissed off and didn't really go deep into this. Once we saw what it was, we did read through it.
That was my initial reaction, to hurt people.
But
I wanted to know who Claire Koss was. I wanted to know who Claire Koss was. I wanted to know who signed off. Yeah, go ahead.
Now look, I haven't seen the play, and I don't plan on seeing this opera. This is the person who wrote the article. All I'm saying is that when white people tell black stories through the lens of whiteness, you don't get a black story that benefits black people. You get a black story sanitized by white consumption. It's also worth mentioning that the play features a black woman composer, Mary D. Watkins, a black woman conductor, Tania Leone, and Liz Player, a black woman clarinetist, and the founder, executive, and artistic director of the Harlem Chamber Players. And these are just a few of the black people involved in this production. So we go for them first. Still, the black response to the premise matters. Walk up to a random black person and say, hey, bruh, did you know Emmett Till's story is being made into an opera? Did you know the opera is the brainchild of a white woman? Did you know that this white woman created Emmett Till opera, went out of its way to star a fictional white woman who has nothing to do with the real story? Suffice to say, said the black person who will likely look at you just informed them that Donald Trump was producing a Jim Crow documentary called Very Fine People on Both Sides. To give you a clue, here are some of the Twitter reactions. So, and of course they're off the charts a little bit, you know. I promise you no one wants this. What are you even thinking about? I don't know the truth of this story about a fictional white woman. It has nothing to do with Emmett Till. It's disrespectful. It's written from the point of view of a fictional white woman. The truth has nothing to do with it. Oh, look, another white woman centering themselves.
We got to break down the comments, though, because it was this woman, Cheyenne, on Twitter. She says, I promise you no one wants this. I promise you.
No one.
No one wants this, and she's right. And then we have a Miss Hellcat. Don't know who Miss Hellcat is, but this was her response to that. Sounds like the truth makes you uncomfortable. As it should. You'll cope.
Where did you see this?
You see that? It's like right under it.
Sounds like the truth.
You see it? Well, you was reading the Twitter. It's like right at the thing with the Twitter.
So I'm reading. I can see. I promise you no one wants this. Now, should I open up Twitter?
No. Right under it, it says Miss Hellcat.
Miss Hellcat.
Scroll
No, I
down.
don't
Just scroll
see
down.
that.
Scroll down. It should be there if you scroll down.
I'm
But in
going.
response to what Miss Hellcat says, sounds like the truth. How the hell is this the truth? This is about a fictional white woman inserting herself in the story of Emmett Till. And then she says, as it should, you'll cope. So basically she's saying the truth, which is not the truth, a fictional white woman being inserted in the Emmett Till story, as it should. She said, you'll cope. Basically, get over it.
Okay, but that's not the truth.
Exactly. But this is what a lot of white people do. This is what's called I'm white and I say so.
Oh yeah, I'm in it now. Sounds like the truth. Makes you uncomfortable as it should. You'll cope. So what I want to know is, I want to know who the fuck Miss Hellcat is.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
You know who she is now. She on Twitter. That's her Twitter name.
She's Caucasian.
Very likely.
There's no way a Freedman said this.
Very likely.
She light-skinned it.
And
You know what?
Cheyenne,
She's probably indigenous.
yeah, and Cheyenne responded, "What are you even talking about? I know the truth, and this is a story about a fictional white woman that has nothing to do with Emmett Till. It's disrespectful." And then all the Twitter just starts raining on her.
I'm saying the subject is important. The fact that this particular production may be garbage, notwithstanding, both things can be true. What's
See
the
how
other thing?
See how she's
The only
backtracking?
truth is Emmett Till was killed by some race soldiers.
She's backtracking at that too.
But what other story is she saying could be true? A fake white woman? We're kind of already going the other direction with that.
That's what she's saying though. This is what they do though. What they say is the truth is the truth.
Because I'm white, I say so.
Yeah, regardless to the history. Regardless to the actual history.
White supremacy is probably funding it, Shanna.
Yeah, regardless to the actual history.
Shit like this.
Regardless to the actual history and what actually happened, the truth is what they say it is. Which is why her dumb ass said that dumb shit. Sounds like the truth makes you uncomfortable. You'll cope. The disrespect. The disrespect.
The truth doesn't make me uncomfortable. The truth pisses me off.
The bottom line is there's no truth in this play. And the fact that she said the truth makes you uncomfortable, get over it, you'll cope, is very disrespectful. They have to muddy the waters in order to make sense of stupidity.
Yo, bro.
You have to muddy the waters and lie to make sense of stupidity. Or try to make sense of it. But people with more than 3 brain cells can see right through this.
But she's audacious. And she's an award-winning playwright.
She's award-winning nobody.
She's white. And very good question by Shanna as to who's funding this. I need to go behind the scenes. I just got so much shit going on. But I need to know who's behind. I need to know the bread behind this.
Yep. Follow the money. Follow the running.
I mean, am I echoing again?
Oh, that's probably me.
Oh, but I think you're clear. Now it is. I'm not now. I I have to know. I mean, it's not major. It's not. I don't think it'll make like a tour. But the fact that somebody allowed this to happen in this time, this is where Black people need to really see, like, they don't care about us unless it's this type of shit right here. And when I talk about repair, when I talk about redress, when I talk about reparations, we're absolutely talking about cash payments. We never want to lose sight of that. But we're talking about all of this shit. There's recompense that needs to be made for this type of shit, because it's not just Emmett Till's family that went through this. Emmett Till is the most known family. There was tons of kids that were snatched out of their homes, beaten and murdered that we never heard about. Just like the other bodies that were in the Tallahatchie River.
Facts.
I don't get the fact that this actually made it onto a platform. And I would have to wonder, like, how deep into the actual story do you go? People have to know why you're here, but is this after the death of Emmett Till? Or do they actually make up a scene that we now know is a fake scene of him whistling at the white woman? Do you make up that fictitious scene? Because since he didn't whistle at the white woman, what the fuck was Emmett doing? Do you actually talk about what he was actually doing and that he didn't whistle at the white woman? So now that we know that's fake, or do you cut that part out too? I mean, the bitch said he didn't do it. Do you put her into play? Do you put her into play? It's years later, she said he really didn't do it. Where is the realness? Where is the truth in this? What's this bitch? What's this skank asshole's name? Hellcat? That's what her pussy smells like.
The one on Twitter is Miss
Hellcat.
Hellcat. Miss Hellcat. So everybody who's still on Twitter, 'cause I'm not.
Hellcat.
Yeah, her name is Miss Hellcat.
We're going to
That's
build
her
a Twitter space on this, and I want to invite her. I want to invite her in. Hellcat and Freedmen Media need to meet. So this right here, bruh, the disrespect of it all and where we are. How do freedmen come together on this? I mean, we did great things, I think, with Harriet. What was the other movie that they made that we basically just shut down because we didn't support it as a collective? I can't remember the other one. But it was Harriet, and there was another one that we just said, no, we're not going to do that. And that bitch had very, very modest numbers. It was streaming within weeks. I can't remember. I know we fucked Harriet up.
Yeah, I don't know that one. I know Harriet. Yeah, Harriet. We destroyed Harriet. Harriet was trash. And Harriet Tubman is one of the more prominent freedmen in our history. So that was a big deal.
Is she related to one of these? Is she a descendant of the race soldier?
I think it's definitely possible. I wouldn't put it past them. Because this is a re-lynching of Emmett Till. This is a re-lynching of him. He's already dead. Now you're re-lynching his story and his legacy. And that history, that Freedman history. With the whole controlling of the narrative, of our story, of our narrative. of his story and his narrative and his mother's made me too. So yeah, I
It's in
could
our
have
face.
swore I remember reading something about them doing this somewhere in New York. John Jay or something. I forgot, but yeah, it's a lot of people. The people who do know about it, nobody wants to see this.
So John Jay College is where the Lynch Theater is.
I'm not sure because I was trying to read the article.
I'm looking at it right here.
Is that what did it say? John Jay?
Gerald W. Lynch Theater at John Jay College in New York City.
Okay.
God
Okay. So
damn, y'all
yeah,
got a lot of colleges in New York City.
yeah.
How they do that?
You're the big city, but John Jay
If
is
you
one
don't
of
go
the
to
more.
college, you in New York City, there's something wrong with you. God damn. Y'all almost got college every goddamn way.
Yeah. That one is known for like law school, criminal justice.
Okay. Oh man. So I want to look at this from the perspective of, and it's hard to do because it's hard to fathom something that we just don't know, which is equality, which is equity, which is having a fair shot in this country. Let's just say that Emmett Till's murder is more of a random type versus the norm. Because we know it to be the norm. But let's say we had all that. We were right there and leading society. That's what we would do. If we had even here, we would actually be winning. A black president would be a normal thing. Just be like, you know, whatever. We probably would have had a couple celebrities. They've had a couple celebrities. I mean, nobody else realized, man, Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump were celebrities. And they became presidents of the United States.
Right.
So it wouldn't been like we couldn't have Oprah be fucking president or Bill Cosby, or you know, any we could have had that if they chose to go down that political lane. If we were even, that was hypothetically speaking, all of the detriment has happened, and we'd be even. You know, we'd be even after slavery. We're gonna give them the 246 years. We gave them a 246-year head start, and them motherfuckers are still losing out in this bitch. I mean, goddamn, you get somebody a 10-yard head start, they're probably gonna beat you in a 100-yard dash, unless you're just a really fast person. But if you give somebody a 246-year head start, and you still out here winning more than they do, you didn't do anything with your complexion. Nothing. See, God don't like ugly. That's why he made me drop that joint. But you know it's you, God. If a motherfucker got 246-year head start, and I'm out here beating him at his own game, he didn't do nothing with his complexion. So, what I want to be and what you want to be, Prime, are freedmen with the consciousness of fuck all that other bullshit, give us our shit. That's who we are as a people. But we've been divided in all kinds of shit. And now we've got our bootlicks. We've got our people who are just satisfied with shit. We've got our people who just don't care. And then there's us. We've got to galvanize. What'd you say? 15% is all we're gonna get? Did you say 15%? Remember, like
Well, yeah.
of the people,
You mean
the
with
mass.
the critical masses?
Yes.
Yeah, 15%.
15%,
Million Man
bro.
March. The Million Man March was powerful in itself. 1 million out of 40 million, or however million at that time.
It was 1995 was probably about 32.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was still functioning at the same pace, they say 40 million, 34 million in Freedmen. So 6 million off. Let's say it was 32. Probably 4 million off. 28 million Freedmen in 95. So 1 out of 28. And how many millions watched it on TV? The fact that there was a million there, fuck that. Hey, do we have the two Nielsen ratings for the Million Man March? Because I bet you there was a lot of motherfuckers watching on TV. And you know what? It wasn't just black folks. White people watched the Million Man March because they was like, look, these motherfuckers pull this shit off. That's why you always see race talking about, oh, there was really only a couple 100,000 in the Million Man March.
Mm-hmm.
300,000 max. But now, they know it's a million. They know it can happen. Now you've got the power of social media.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have network television. All kinds of audio media. And then just motherfuckers just showing up. It's a lot easier to get to DC now than it used to be, too. It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier getting there physically, and it's a lot easier getting there digital. Motherfucker, you get 40 million people watching a real Million Man March. You will turn this country upside down. There goes your new political party.
Right.
But we got to get on code. And we got to get these motherfuckers that walk up on the shores of America looking to live the American dream. We got to get in line. Fuck the wall. We got to gate. And they need to walk through the freedom gate.
Mm-hmm.
If you going to come over here saying you black, you come on over here. Get over here and try to soak up some black resources, and then go over there and say you Caucasian.
Mm-hmm.
Say it. Try it. That's what we have to put that gate up. Freedmen have to put the gate up for specificity. We start talking that all lives matter shit, all black people shit, I'm out. I'm fucking out.
As you should.
Is for Freedmen. And we start talking, well, maybe, here's what I have for the diaspora. Eat a dick. We with you as black people. We fighting as black people. But where our claim for recompense is concerned, you are not for it. Your people came over here in the 60s. Maybe the 50s. But you didn't really go through anything other than the last 20 years dealing with some Jim Crow shit and some fucked up legislation. But the true detriment of this country already happened. And you weren't over here.
Right.
So you come in here looking for a piece of a claim that's for descendants of slavery. You're just a
You're just a
descendant of
descendant
somebody
of
who
somebody
came
who
over
came over
here
here
to go to
to go to
college.
college.
Yeah, I like to use descendant of American Negro chattel slaves. Get real specific. And you can separate it in so many ways. Those who was promised the 40 acres and a mule, those who were emancipated from the or manumitted from the Emancipation Proclamation, their descendants. See, that don't fall under the umbrella of minorities or people of color. So when you get specific like that, it leaves out a lot of people. Those who chose to come over here or those who were forced to come over here. That's like four different distinctions right there. You see? Because when we say chattel slave instead of like slavery, you know, people have touched on this. Slavery is a whole institution, so you can include the slave master in that language, or even the overseer, as opposed to using the word chattel slave. Because not everybody was a slave, you know. Like the slave owner wasn't the slave, so he's excluded from that, you know.
Let me get
Let me
something in
get
on
something in
that.
on that.
Yeah,
Hit me with
Hit me
that
with
mute
that
if you
mute if
can.
you can.
got you.
I think people lack the full knowledge of the institution of slavery and what the institution of slavery caused. People look at slavery as a bad time, a bad period. 246 years. That's longer than a bad time or bad period. 2.5 centuries of detrimental behavior. It's more than that. And when you have 2.5 centuries of brutality and rape and murder and profiting off of a people, it is an institution. It is no longer a bad period, a bad time. It is an institution because that is now part of your financial infrastructure. And as we know it, slavery was the biggest monetary or financial part of America's infrastructure at one time. I mean, that's all they knew how to do was enslave. And all the enslaved people knew how to do everything else. It was at one time we were the only skilled tradesmen in this country. Not a mayonnaise man
Yep.
in sight.
Yep.
And that's when they started killing us because we were competitive for jobs. That's when they started running us up out of town. So that's why I want to hear nothing about your city. You know your city did a lot against slaves. People be like, oh, New York City, that's so diverse. No. New York City was a hotbed for slavery and brutality against black people. Just looking for jobs as freemen.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Wall Street and
I look at all of this shit right now that's happening. It's when they say we have no political power. Well, we have no politicians that are advocating for us. And when they want shit like this to pass and don't give us any real tangible shit, why aren't we just voting them out of office?
there's no politicians on a national level who's advocating for it, but there are some who are not as prominent who are. But we're not advocating for it because I think a lot of us have lost faith in the political process due to the history of this country, due to the Al Sharptons, due to the Jesse Jacksons, you know? So they have a
They're
lot
bought and
of,
paid for.
right, they have a lot of apathy for this political process and getting involved themselves. But quite frankly, that is where the power is. But they don't understand that and they have lost faith in that process. But there's many others who have not and they understand it. So those are the ones we need to work with and build with. So it's either you a Freedman consciousness or you're a Freedman ally and supporter. So
I'm
yeah,
trying to see what's. Excuse me.
bless you.
Thank you. I'm trying to see like what can be our next move as freedmen in this political way. I mean, obviously, trying to vote out politicians who don't advocate for us. I mean, I look at that as two ways. Yeah, absolutely. Get them out of office if they're not going to work with us. But if a motherfucker's already in office and he's losing his numbers are lowering, you let him know. If you want a spike in your numbers and you need to start advocating for black people, don't just show up in church, motherfucker. Say your little slick shit and then keep it moving and don't do nothing for us. If you want to get back in office, you better put some shit on the table. That's what we need to be. That's the way we need to be talking to black politicians. Stop buddying up to these motherfuckers if they're not doing anything for you.
Absolutely.
On the local level.
Absolutely. And not only that, we need to go to their competitors.
Absolutely.
Go to their competitors. This is how power moves. You go to their competitors. And not
Because
only that,
their
not
competitors
only
want to get in.
yeah, not only that, because that's politics, going to their competitors, but you also attack their friends. Their friends who don't support your agenda. Not only that, you replace them with someone who will support your agenda. And you fund them. You put money into them and their campaign. That's how you do it. That was like 3 different things right there. And they all can be used and implemented. So, because once you get them out, somebody else got to take the position.
Right.
So it has to be us to do that. And ensure our agenda gets actualized.
I don't believe any people of color, minorities, are going to advocate for us. If anybody's going to advocate for freedmen, I think it starts with freedmen politicians. And not every black politician is a freedman, but most that are freedmen come from humble beginnings and would never want to return to that. But I think we need to put, if I so may use the word, urge, put the fucking fear of God in people. Motherfuckers gotta know, you about to lose the bag if you don't start advocating for us. If you want our vote. If they don't know that, they just know that we're just gonna vote for them at a 60, 70, 80% clip, 90. Why would they give us anything? The numbers for Freedmen and Democrats needs to drop significantly. They need to get down in
They
the
don't
30,
have
40 range.
It's gonna drop. Trust me. It's gonna drop. I think that was another tactic from the Democratic Party with the whole Emmett Till bill. A whole symbolic gesture. Because outside looking in, let's keep it real. Most Americans, they don't know shit about politics. And furthermore, they don't read actual bills and legislation. So on the outside looking in, when they see the anti-lynching bill or the Emmett Till anti-lynching bill, outside looking in, they're going to automatically think, oh, that's a good thing. When in actuality, once you actually read the bill, you'll see that it has no teeth. It's not a good bill at all.
Right on.
So yeah, the average American will see that bill and say, "Oh, it's gonna help black people. They're gonna stop people from getting lynched." Or let's just take the George Floyd bill, or the George Floyd Policing Accountability Act, whatever it's called. They're gonna say the average American is gonna say, "Oh wow, this is good. We're finally getting progress. We're gonna hold the police accountable." But that bill does not end and eliminate qualified immunity. There's a lot of ambiguity in that bill, so the average American will support it not knowing that it does not benefit freedmen or even black people.
Right.
They'll assume that it does. They'll assume that it does. Just like some people assume when you hear the word minority, you're talking about black people. You imply it's about black people, but everybody else except black people benefit from it. And the black people who do benefit get the crumbs.
Mm-hmm. See, we benefit off of being implied versus applied. They can make implications, but they won't make applications on us.
That's right. People of color.
BIPOC.
Right. Not Tupac, but BIPOC.
As Justice Smollett. BIPOC.
Exactly.
I mean, think about this. Have you ever heard a motherfucker say native? I'm sorry, black Native American?
Nope.
Black Native American. Do people say that?
Never.
Do people say black Mexican?
I've heard that before.
Mexican black?
I've heard black Mexicans, yes. Very rarely. But when you think about a Mexican, you're not associating a Mexican with a black person.
Right. So you know what I'm getting at. But how is it that with everything of us, everybody can hone in on our shit?
That's the American way. It's been normalized for whenever black people get something, everybody has to get something. That's the normalization. Because black people,
246 years.
Because black people are the litmus test for racism. When you think about racism in America, you're not thinking about a minority, which could be an Asian person, or a Hispanic person, or a white person, or a Native American. You automatically think in your head the first two people or groups of people that pop in your head is a black person and a white person when it comes to racism. the history of black people and white people in America, or even all over the globe, for that matter.
I'm I'm to the point where, like I said, I don't really care what I say on these platforms because I'm going to speak my mind. When they can really start restricting what I say, I mean, I'll curve some words, and acquire some phraseology just to make sure that, I I don't do dumb shit to get struck, but I'm not going to stop speaking the truthful narrative, and that's what they don't want. They don't want the truth to come out because that embarrasses white society. White society has let a lot of shit happen and created a lot of shit. And hasn't been any other society. Hasn't been any other society. It's been white society. And then off of white society spawns white supremacy. And white supremacy can be facilitated by other ethnicities because they can just be ops of white supremacy. Hell, we got black people that's ops of white supremacy. And infiltrate the black collective and weaken the black collective. Reparations is due. They know this. But they're going to put that H.R. 40 bill out next. If they don't pass this lynching bill, the H.R. 40 bill is going to come in, and then right after they pitch H.R. 40, then you're going to see something move on the George Floyd bill. They're not going to put two crime bills right together. Now they got to do something to make it seem like it's, something. So they're going to try to push H.R. 40 towards us. They think that's going to be the jolt in the arm for them for the midterms. Ain't nobody talking about no goddamn HR 40. And especially if that's the campaign promise for 2022. Deuces. Out.
Better yet, after all the statues of George Floyd, the hip hop holidays, the Juneteenths, Black Lives Matter on streets, Maya Angelou on a nickel, still waiting for Harriet Tubman on a $20 bill. And after all the Afghan refugees getting billions of dollars, Hispanics getting millions, Asians getting millions of dollars, supposedly Ukrainians about to come over here and get millions of dollars. Now they see, uh, I think you're right. They're gonna throw out the HR 40 out there. You see them throwing out Emmett Till anti-lynching bill. That's like the bone that they're gonna throw, which is a toothless bill, and it does nothing for black people. Very vague. The George Floyd Act, they're gonna say, look, they gave y'all this, so now y'all got something. But in actuality, the policy makers, the legislatures, they know what they're doing, and they know that ha- these bills aren't powerful. These are very weak bills. And for the most part, there's not much people to enforce this. Which is why we need to get our own people into positions of power. That's why we say don't fight the power, be the power.
And if I can catch that mute.
Don't just
Brother
fight the power,
Narmer
be the power.
Brother Narmer comes in and states something that's so factual. Christianity prevents too many of our people from fighting back. I mean, I know y'all love the law. I know y'all love the law. And the law loves you. But if you're going to fight for reparations, you can't let go and let God. That's not what we can do here. We can't just pray on it. We can't just sit on the sideline and pray on it. God is not coming to save you. And I see too many people hemmed in with religion, thinking that it's all going to come through just that. No, it's going to come through by putting one of your motherfucking feet in front of the other and get to working with the collective, with the freedmen. Or you can stay on that other side.
Buttermilk biscuits, I enjoy it.
And that's where y'all at. Some of y'all ain't came across yet. Still living in the guise of Barack Obama. While they're laughing at us because that motherfucker he's so white, it's ridiculous. When Bruce Springsteen's blacker than Barack Obama, that's a problem.
Man, Wayne Brady is blacker than Barack Obama.
Wayne Brady is motherfucking Black Panther compared to Barack Obama.
Wayne Brady is blacker than Barack Obama. Wayne Brady makes Brian Gumble look like Malcolm X.
But you know what, though? Let me tell you something. Brian Gumble will get gully with a motherfucker. He's smart. He's a brainiac, but he's actually kind of hood. I done seen him get with people like, he's deep. Now his brother is weird because his brother lives out here. He lives out here, and the other one lives out here. The other light-skinned one, Tarico. Mike Tirico lives out here. I see Tarico and shit in the post office. That motherfucker, he don't never speak.
That's not his brother, is it? Mike Tirico?
Who?
Tarico's not his brother, is it?
Brian Gumble?
Yeah.
No, Greg Gumble is Brian Gumble's brother.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know that, but you said Tarico.
Yeah, he lives out here.
Yeah, you mentioned Tarico.
And Tarico lives out here too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm a shoulder bump out of the post office.
Yeah, I met Tarico before. He's all right.
Now, so what was it about that he wouldn't claim that he was black? He only claims his Hispanic status?
Who, Tarico?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I wasn't aware.
That's something that I heard he claimed, like being black or something like that. Put some heat on him for a minute.
So he's a, what's that? Tiger Woods.
Well, what he is.
Buttermilk biscuits, I enjoy it.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he is.
But religion ain't got shit to do with politics, so a lot of those people who give off those Christianity religious vibes is majority of them is the older black people.
Mm-hmm.
And respectfully, they'll be out of here real soon. They got one foot in the grave, so it is what it is. It's like the people who still like, rock and roll. Rock and roll is dead. That shit been dead.
You came on this motherfucker and went Iron Drago on the motherfucker.
Yeah.
If he died, he died.
Rock and roll is dead. Rock and roll is dead. Respectfully, rock and roll is dead.
If he dies, he dies.
Yeah. They're getting the fuck out of here. Sooner than later, so. It is what it is. A lot of the young a lot of the youth is not with that, God this and let go and let God. Nah, they not with all that bullshit.
Hey man, did you see my Freedmen shirt? Can you see it? Freedmen, and then inside of it says Black History.
Yeah, I see it. I like it.
So the original shirt said freedom. But I made her change it to Freedmen because I'm already free. See, motherfuckers out here still seeking their freedom, which means that they're still being held captive. I'm not being held captive. I'm free. Now it's time to fucking pay me.
Gave him the Freedman clap on that one.
Dude, they've avoided us for over 400 years now. And now motherfuckers are getting flown in from territories that are embattled and getting the bag. And they just walking, excuse me, niggers, excuse me, pardon me, excuse me, niggers, pushing us right out the way. But then they want to pacify us with an anti-lynching bill that's over 200 tries and 100 years in the making. It's like, I mean, that's passing for.
It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work.
They ain't gonna never bring nobody to justice under that shit anyway. Here.
We gonna see DeSantis in office, possibly.
Dog, I think he can run and win.
Yeah, possibly.
I think that there's a lot of motherfuckers that think like DeSantis.
Mm-hmm. I think he has a really good chance of winning if he gets on that Republican ballot. If Trump won, Ronald Reagan, it's a lot of people.
Anything's possible, dog. Anything's possible. Especially if Biden and Kamala, and they're halfway there. If they totally decimate the Democratic Party, the Republicans are just going to win by default because whatever they throw at the end is not going to be enough. Republicans are just going to get people. Democrats are going to walk away, so they're going to lose numbers. They have no chance. And what they're going to try to do is expedite citizenship for these immigrants to try to get them in the Democratic voter base. I don't give a fuck about that. Once they get their paperwork, they're like, bitch, I'm gone. Oh, I got my green card. Like, okay, now you need to get your voter registration card. They'll be like, bitch, I'm gone. Is the paint dry on this motherfucker? I'm gone. They don't have anything once they get these motherfuckers in here as citizens. No. That's why in New York, they doing the immigrants can vote. Get them their voter registration card first. Then get them their citizenship. Who'd you vote for, Hector? Oh, Republican? Oh, send his ass back. But if you voted for Democrats, they were like, oh, Hector's good. But if the Republicans get in here, they already know they up out of here anyway. Their days are numbered anyway. They're going to start sending them home just like they was the last time. You already know DeSantis don't like them. He's a Trumper. He's a Trumper. He don't want the immigrants in. So there's going to be hard action on any borders. Yeah. Yep.
I guess we're gonna see. Unless they get impeached tomorrow, we'll be seeing in 2024.
He ain't done that to get impeached, has he? Joe Biden has had one of the most inactive presidencies I've ever seen.
I mean, from the general consensus, from what I've been seeing, he's not. He looks weak. According to a lot of people, he's incoherent. He looks like a fool. He doesn't make sense a lot of times when he's talking. I mean, he goes back on his word. He goes back on his word, which pretty much all politicians do. But um, it's a lot of people, Democrats, who are not pleased with him. We already
I
know the
mean,
Republicans don't like him, but the Democrats, a lot of Democrats I've been speaking with, are not pleased with him or Kamala Harris. So it is what it is. He has very unfavorable numbers,
right.
and he's only been in office for a year.
So if you take his numbers right now, his approval ratings are sinking, all kinds of shit. Why would people even consider voting for him again or supporting the Democratic Party? I mean, they're putting no pressure on him to do anything. And he promised all this shit, and he hasn't come through it. And then when he goes back on the campaign trail, they're like, well, Joe Biden, you didn't do anything. You don't deserve our vote for another second term. He's like, come on, man. Come on, man. He's going to be doing that shit. Enough of these bootlick ass niggas going to get out here and vote for him because they're like, I can't vote for a Republican. Hey, if DeSantis got in this motherfucker and started talking about, like, look, I'll fuck with the black folks. Let's see what's going on with it. DeSantis might help us get reparations. Because DeSantis is like Trump, and he likes to see money move. And the more money that's pushed through the atmosphere, that's going to help the economy.
I'm not trusting DeSantis or Joe Biden.
Well, come on, we ain't talking about trust. We're talking about trust. We're talking about politics.
I don't trust. I don't. His
I don't
politics.
trust
His DeSantis's politics does not coincide with mine. So no, I don't fuck with him neither. But
we got if say. Tell me this.
it's gonna be good to
If we
see
can
who
say
wins.
we win 20
I think it
million,
would be. I think from a Freedmen perspective, it would be better if a Republican was in office because that's the only time when it seemed black people and freedmen want to actually do something. Like when Trump was in office, Trump crystallized the racism in America, so that would be great. From that perspective, when you crystallize the overt and blunt racism, white supremacy in America, people don't want to deal with that shit. So then they start doing shit to fight back. So from that perspective, yeah. Would I expect DeSantis to co-sign reparations and direct cash payments for Freedmen? No. But it would allow us to organize, in my opinion. It will motivate us to organize, in my opinion. Just like people mobilized against Trump. So yeah. I say fuck both of them though.
If people, and this is what they're doing, yeah, they've got themselves set to beat Trump. But if you're going to go at it this way, got yourself set to beat Trump. Okay, that's good and that's fine. But what is your plan of action? You still have to have a plan of action. Your plan of action just can't be defense. At some points, you're going to have to play offense and you're going to have to be productive because Trump's coming back. And I don't get what that strategy is that they don't really have a plan other than we got to beat Trump. Okay, but to beat Trump, you also need offense. You can't just have defense. You can't just try to block it.
Anybody who supports Biden at this point after his State of the Union is foolish because just like Trump, just like what Trump said he wanted to give more money to police. Jim Crow Joe said that he's going to is we're not the answer is not to defund the police, it's to give them more money. It's the exact same thing that Trump said. So that distinction is null and void now.
Right, right.
Can't say that they're different now. They said the exact same thing. Especially from a Freedman perspective. You can't defend that.
There's gonna be people that try.
Yeah, they're gonna try, but they know in their heart that they sound stupid. They just dying with the lie.
Right.
They just gonna go down with the ship and die with the lie, cause they don't want to admit that Joe Biden is a piece of shit either. They'll just prefer Joe Biden's white supremacy than Trump's white supremacy. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
They want white supremacy with vanilla on top, in comparison to Trump's white supremacy, which is strawberry.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all it is.
It's really all just a fucking game. This
Yeah,
is all
exactly political theater. That's all. Because when it comes to black people, the Republicans and the Democrats, they become very, very aligned. They know how to maintain racism and with his bipartisanship. So yeah, that's what it is.
I'm I'm so skeptical of a lot of these politicians and their motives.
As you should be.
And I don't know if leaving the Democratic Party, starting another party is something that we either want to do or do we apply the pressure to the Democrats. I'm stuck at that. I'm stuck at that now. So that's what I really want to get into discussions about, like, how do we strategize this? Is it possible to start a political party? Do we have the people? Do we have the base, the allies, this, that, and the other, whatever? Because we got to do something. We got to make a political move now. Now. Like within the next 3 to 4 years.
There's a couple of solutions to that.
Too.
There's a couple of solutions to that. The long term solution would to be the power platform promotes is the state power. Us getting consolidated power and concentrated power in the 13 states in the South. Controlling the state. Since there's a federalist society or a federalist uh, political game here. I guess more on a short term goal on the local level and the House of Representative level, maybe even it's probably not likely on the senator level. We need to get more Freedmen consciousness and Freedmen allies into Congress. So president's power is limited, but Congress is the people who really control the country. They are the ones with the power. Chuck Schumer don't give a fuck about being a president. Mitch McConnell don't give a fuck about being a president. Nancy Pelosi is the head bitch in charge. She don't give a fuck about being a president. She's the most powerful woman in politics. She's the most powerful woman in politics. And she can pull Kamala Harris's. Yeah, she can pull Kamala Harris's card anytime she wants. And she's not the vice president.
She can yank her chain any day.
Exactly. And she's not the vice president. So that's where the power is in Congress. So if we get a Freedmen friendly Congress, we will get reparations.
Right.
We will. That's guaranteed. In the form of direct cash payments, but not limited to that. But that's guaranteed. But in order to
How
do that, we
can
have to start on a local level.
we got to get deep into this damn congressional Black Caucus because
Congressional
they hold a lot of cards right now.
Congressional Minority Caucus. The Congressional
Congressional
LGBT Caucus.
BIPOC
Yeah, the Congressional
Caucus.
Minority, BIPOC, LGBT, immigrant, um, everything else except caucus. The Congressional Coon Caucus. Or the Coon Congressional Caucus.
See,
That's all it is. That's what their name should be. I no longer call them the Congressional Black Caucus. That's not who they are. They don't advocate for black people.
no,
Not at all.
they've just given up on us. Like they started to advocate for a whole nother race of people. Like how y'all do that? Y'all the Congressional Black Caucus. How you out here advocating for everybody else but us?
But yeah, that's how we get it done, and we can do that on the congressional level, but we also can do that on other levels as well. Um, the judicial level, I don't think we've never had a freedman president, so on an executive level, it's probably never going to happen, but we could work on that too. The local level, shit like that. At least get a freedman uh, police chief,
Right.
someone who you can elect as a chief and get rid of them when they don't do your bidding.
Yeah.
That's an elected official position.
And looking at police, I don't see a lot of black police chiefs.
Right.
Is their situation like coaching?
Mayors, get some mayors in there, city council, governors. It's a whole game plan, but it takes a lot of organizing for that, a lot of planning, a lot of people on the same page for that to happen.
Yeah.
Can we do that? I know we can. It's just a matter of us actually doing it. It takes a lot of work. So,
Right.
hard to do does not mean impossible. So,
I think the discussions need to continue. I think we all need to continue to understand what's at stake. Some people who don't understand, we need to enlighten them. Those who do understand, we need to keep moving. And those who are going to come are going to come. Those who are not going to come are not going to come. We cannot force nobody at this point. We are here to bring the truth to you, whether you want to believe it or not. But I'd rather throw you a lifeline rather than a life jacket.
hard to do means it can be done. It may be hard, but you can do it.
Right.
And it's that much more satisfying when you know you put in a lot of work and then you get the results that you wanted.
Absolutely.
You appreciate it more and you're a lot more grateful. And you fight harder to maintain it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, like Shanna Kim said, some DAs and judges, absolutely. That's on a local level. Absolutely. You vote them in, They don't do your bidding, you vote them out and put somebody in who you know will.
Right.
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 We've done it before. There's precedent to this. Robert Smalls, Hiram Revels, Prince Hall. We've done this before.
Yeah.
Frederick Douglass wasn't a senator or a House rep or whatever, but we've had people like Adam Clayton Powell Jr.
Right.
Right.
Frederick
Now,
Douglass he was, he wasn't a legislator or anything, but he advocated for the freedmen most definitely. So people like that with that type of influence and power, we can get things done. And we have
right.
people like that today.
They go over to the other side. As soon as they get elected, they go over to the other side. Cory Booker, he was all about Newark, and New York. Once he got elected, that motherfucker went straight Barack.
Hmm. Well,
And
there's
that's
always
like
that
the
in.
model now. Can you get in there harder than Barack? They don't really want nobody harder than Barack. We know Barack wasn't hard, but they don't want nobody harder than Barack. I thought we had a guy here in Michigan named Jewel Jones. They've been fucking with him. He had some shit, drunk driving, some other shit with it. But I'm hoping he can make it out because he's a young, strong, black politic that I think he could really do work on the Freedmen side. You just got to get some good people working with him, man. Because they trying to trash him to the point where they'll run him out of politics, but he needs to be in there. He's a good political mind. He's just got to learn the do's and don'ts of shit. Young man. So we need them young ones to be able to come along strong. Because these ones that are in their early 40s, they're borderline, dude. I think we need to be in the 30s and sometimes trying to catch some of these young politics in their 20s and bring them up. Because these ones that are a little older, they'll coon out. Because they know they only got a couple more years.
You gotta catch them younger than that. Catch them younger than that.
How young are you?
When they 5.
He said 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta hit the kindergartners.
Yeah. Yeah. Hit them with the kindergarten civics. That's how you start it. Yeah. Make it as simple as possible, but as they get older, it progresses.
Right. I get it.
You have to instill that into them young. So when they have full understanding or better understanding, when they do get at the right age, 21, 24, 25, it's embedded in them. And they understand the importance as a citizen, and it's your civic duty and your duty as a citizen.
Right.
You know? Yeah, I say 5. 5. 5 years young.
I mean, and you can teach a 5-year-old so much.
Oh yeah. They say at that age, I've been told at that age, they have their personality already at that age.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, my grandson, I can talk to him and not have any problem having him understand what I'm saying if I I just talk slowly. I don't use big words with him. I mean, there's some big words he knows, but I try to be very, very plain. And he shoots back the answers to me so quickly. I'm like, does he really understand what he's saying? And he does.
Of course he does.
You know.
Kids are very smart. They're a lot smarter than some of us give them credit for. And they observe and they pay attention and they interpret a lot of things that's going around them better than we think. They're able to understand a lot better than we expect them to. So, yeah, I say 5. That's why I say 5. Start them young at 5. When they
Put him
grow
on
up,
that real shit.
yeah, when they grow up, they'll be able to fully apply it. Cause knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is. How you
Back
can
to that word applied again.
yeah, how you apply that knowledge in your everyday life, that is powerful. That's power.
Uh, Implied knowledge doesn't necessarily mean there is knowledge. It's just an implication of knowledge. Applied knowledge means that you put it in play.
Right.
You can imply knowledge and you can apply knowledge.
Applied knowledge is wisdom. Yeah, applied knowledge is wisdom, experience, and understanding. Absolute understanding and wisdom and experience. It's a difference between knowledge and wisdom.
Right. Well, my brother, we've covered some ground tonight, and we had to kick some dirt on Koss. What's her name? Carol Koss?
Karen.
This situation is disrespectful.
Yeah, Karen is her name. Karen Koss.
I'm appalled that anybody could think that this was okay. I'm not sure what anybody could think to look at this and be like, you're going to rewrite the death of Emmett Till, add some fictitious characters.
Believe it or not, I saw some white people on Twitter on that article, and they was appalled. They was getting at her or Miss whatever the fuck that person name
I mean, it's
was.
so disrespectful.
Yeah, it was actually some white people, Miss Hellcat, who was getting at her. Or of course some black people was too, but it was I seen some white people getting at her too, talking about how she has all this privilege and disrespect, and so yeah.
This is the same Hellcat as the other post?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh.
From Twitter. The responses. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give me some sleep too. I'm tired now.
Man, I'm turning in 1 o'clock.
Doing a
Now,
lot today.
1 o'clock where you are, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no more time zone to go, so we're all in the same time zone now.
Absolutely.
The next time zone is Chicago. And then a little further west is next time zone. Goes. I think we're Eastern. Chicago Central. And I think there's Mountain. Oh, got the last one. Got the last one. But yeah, man, go get you some sleep.
Go get you some sleep.
I'm about to fucking eat a couple more of these potatoes and get the fuck up out of here.
Fuck up out of here.
Tighten up a little bit.
Tighten up a little bit,
and
and then,
head on in.
head on in.
Good discussion, brother.
Good discussion, brother.
As always, you already know. Freedmen on deck.
I mean, we've been doing this enough to where we know people are feeling the content. We just got to get it out there more. We got some writers out here. Free, Shanna. Hey, Widow. And we got more. You know, Sonya Voss, she's always contributing. You know, we got a lot of people out here.
Much love and
BTP, you know,
respect.
they show love.
Yep. Much love and respect to those supporters. We appreciate y'all.
Yeah,
Thank you.
all of them. All the supporters. Keep it coming. And to the ones who don't support.
But I'm not biscuits. I enjoy it.
That's just where we are. Dog, did you listen to that Tariq Twitter space where he was talking about that chick being musty?
Nah, I didn't hear that one.
I'm so sick of his ass.
Keep it going.
He was like, what about this, Tariq? And he was like, what about your must? I can't stand this nigga.
I saw that clip how he got at the Puerto Rican dude who was trying to get at him with the rapping.
That was a good one.
Got at him.
He got at him. Tariq is a talented guy.
DJ Salad.
Yeah.
We gotta
That shit
go. I
was
got you over here
hilarious.
coughing and shit. You about to get out?
Dog. He said DJ Salad. I was like, oh my God.
DJ
Oh my
Salad.
God.
That was his name. DJ Salad though. That's crazy.
Yeah, he's got to have some writers. He can't even think of all this shit by himself.
Why not?
God, if that motherfucker's mind works like that,
It's possible. I
I
don't
know
put
he's got
nothing
a
past.
team like
I don't put.
production team.
I don't put nothing past him. I've heard he done.
No,
I
he's
heard he done.
talented, but he's
I
got a
heard he done
production team to work
freestyles
with him
before.
too.
I've heard he done freestyles before. So, come on, man. Don't underestimate the Freedmen now. Come on now.
Oh, absolutely not. You know, he was born in Detroit.
We the most. Yeah, he's from Detroit. I meant to ask you that too. Ain't he from Detroit? And then he moved to Alabama for a while, I think, and then he moved to Cali. So yeah.
Well, get you some rest, bro.
I don't put
You
it
gotta get
past
out
him.
in the morning.
Nah. I think I'm a little bit free.
Thanks, Shane Norman.
I just had a long day today. Had a long day today. I'm surprised.
Freedmen on deck. Another one in the books.
Thank you for having me, OG. Salute. You're a good man. Happy Father's Day, sir.
Appreciate you.
We need this media, Freedmen Media. We need your perspective. You're the OG. You give great content, and you got to keep this messaging going. You know.
I'm working on it, man.
This is your legacy. This is our legacy, and this is the work we need to be doing, controlling our own narrative.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right,
Independent
let's get at it,
too.
man. Get you some rest.
Independent and uncompromising. No coons over here.
No.
No cooning. No buttermilk biscuits.
It's just one of them things.
Buttermilk biscuits. I enjoy it.
And for the little kids, get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. Hey,
Buttermilk biscuits. I enjoy it.
I just know that this is something different, and I know that people are taking looks at it. It's just a matter of time, bro. Somebody's gonna say something to somebody.
Well,
And then Freedmen on deck will be on deck. Speaking of on deck, are we having a Major League Baseball season?
I don't even know, man. I don't even really fuck with baseball like that. I like to play it,
I know they're striking or some shit.
watch it sometimes, but yeah.
You're not a
can't-
Yankees fan?
Of course, I'm a diehard Yankees supporter,
But you don't follow baseball. How do you do that?
Listen, when the Yankees win, we win. So that's it. Very casual baseball watcher.
You don't follow the game well, or you just boring to you?
Watching the game is boring, but playing the game is fun. I've been to Yankee Stadium plenty of times. Or even I've been to the Met Stadium, Shea Stadium a couple times. But just watching it in person or even on TV is just not exciting to me. But whenever they win, I'm happy.
Right.
And I support the Yankees, not the Mets. I don't support stepchild New York teams.
So what is that? Why do some people support the Yankees and some people support the Mets?
I'll
How come
speak
New
for
York just support New York?
I'll speak for myself because the Mets, Brooklyn Nets, the Jets, all those are stepchild New York teams. That's why.
Did you say Mets, Jets, and Nets? That shit all right.
Yeah, like you got the Jets, you got the Mets, you got the what is it called?
Nets?
Oh, the Buffalo. I guess you can include the Buffalo Bills. Who else?
That doesn't rhyme.
Yeah, but they all stepchild New York teams, so I don't support them.
But was Buffalo really a stepchild team?
It's a New York team.
And anybody outside of NYC is kind of like secondary?
To me they are. To me. But yeah, it's they're not like the official New York teams, you know what I mean?
Right.
So they're like alternative New York teams like the Mets.
Right.
Or the New York Jets. Damn, what was the other team that I mentioned? You got the Brooklyn Nets, you got the New York Jets. Oh, and the Mets from baseball. These are all stepchild New York teams. And this
Right on.
it's just a New York thing, like You're gonna have people who like the Yankees, and you're gonna have people who hate the Yankees, but they love the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree with that, Darwin. Move that shit up. Stop playing late October and all that shit. It's cold and shit by then.
Yeah. But
They
I
should be wrapping
OG.
up in September anyway to make room for the NFL.
Yeah.
Maybe having the World Series, the NFL season's half over.
Yeah. I OG. I'm getting out the paint. Peace, family. Another great broadcast. Holla Black.
Holla Black. Appreciate y'all. One love.
Peace. One love.
Peace.
Buttermilk biscuits. I enjoy it.